A lion, the predator that rules the savannah. A wildebeest calf, small, weak, and vulnerable. What will happen if it accidentally gets separated from the herd and falls into the lion's sights? Comment 1 if you believe the calf can escape this chase. The Serengeti is one of Africa's most famous wilderness areas. During migration season, wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles move in large herds in search of fresh grass and water sources. Further away, thousands of wildebeest move in large groups. Their calls echo throughout the savannah. The breeding season has arrived, and with it, thousands of young are beginning to appear. But on the savannah, the birth of a young one also means that many predators are starting to take notice. Wildebeest are one of the iconic animals of the African savanna. An adult can weigh from approximately 400 to over 600 pounds. They live in enormous herds. During migration season, their numbers can reach hundreds of thousands. The life of the wildebeest is closely tied to long journeys in search of fresh grass and water sources. Each year, during the breeding season, thousands of hatchlings are born in a short period of time. This strategy helps the entire group increase their chances of survival against predators. The hatchlings develop very quickly. Just minutes after birth, many individuals are already able to stand up Hours later, they had to struggle to keep up with the herd. Because in the vast savannah, slowness could make a young one an easy target. Although protected by the large numbers of the herd, the first few days of life were still the most dangerous time. And today, a young animal has just begun its journey of survival on the Serengeti grasslands. A young wildebeest is trying to take its first steps in life. It always moves close to its mother. Its legs are still not very steady. Every strange sound from the surrounding meadows alerted it. Although born with the ability to stand up and run after only a short time, the first few weeks of life were still the most dangerous period. It lacked experience. Its endurance was not yet fully developed, and its speed could not yet match that of adult individuals. Meanwhile, across the grasslands, predators were watching the antelope herd. They paid particular attention to the weak and easily separated young. For this young one, every step was a survival lesson. And at the far end of the grassland, a pair of eyes was silently observing. Watching those first hesitant steps, it was hard not to worry for this young one. Like this post, if you also hope it will be safe. Hidden among the low bushes, A lioness was silently observing a herd of wildebeest. Lions are the only big cats that live in prides. An adult female can weigh from about 260 to over 400 pounds. Muscular strength, hunting experience, and the ability to coordinate with her pack, these have made them the top predators of the African savanna. A lion's diet is very diverse. Zebras, wild antelopes, buffaloes, impalas, and many other herbivorous animals. However, young animals are often easier targets. They are slower, less experienced, and more easily separated from the herd in chaotic situations. The lioness observed patiently. She was in no hurry to act. She was searching for the best opportunity, and soon, her gaze settled on a young cub walking beside its mother. The lioness slowly lowered her body. She used the yellow grass to approach the herd of wildebeest. Meanwhile, the cub remained close to its mother, completely unaware of the approaching danger. Then suddenly, the whole herd became agitated. The sound of hooves echoed across the grassland. The adult antelopes immediately sped up. The young also tried to keep up amidst the chaotic movement. The distance from their mothers constantly changed. On the savanna, even a moment of separation from the herd can create an opportunity for a predator. For a young wildebeest, the journey of survival has only just begun. During its first year of life, countless dangers are ever present on the grasslands. Lions, hyenas, African wild dogs, leopards, all of them can become a threat at any moment. Besides predators, young wildebeest must also keep up with the herd on long journeys in search of food and water. Only the strongest and most resilient individuals can mature, and one day, they will participate in the great migrations of the African savannas And that journey begins with the first steps of life. In your opinion, is the biggest challenge for young wildebeest predators or the harsh migrations? Comment 2 if you choose the migration journey. Leaving the wildebeest behind, we come to one of Africa's most recognizable animals. Amidst the vast grasslands and clumps of acacia trees, giraffes stand out with their distinctive long necks. They are the tallest land animals. An adult male can grow to nearly 18 feet tall and weigh over 4,000 pounds. Their long necks allow them to reach foliage that many other herbivores cannot. As a result, giraffes have less competition for food with other animals. They typically live in small groups, with constantly changing members. There isn't a very tight herd structure, but individuals often observe and support each other when danger is detected. Giraffes spend most of their time eating leaves, especially acacia leaves. A single adult can eat dozens of pounds of leaves per day. Although seemingly gentle, giraffes possess a formidable weapon. Those are extremely strong legs. An accurate kick can cost many predators dearly. However, young giraffes are still often targeted by lions, hyenas, and leopards. Therefore, the mothers are always vigilant and often stay close to their young to protect them. Giraffes aren't ferocious warriors, but with their impressive height, excellent eyesight, and powerful kicks, they've become one of the savannah's most successful herbivores. And in the arid lands ahead, a familiar savanna resident grazes among the bushes, the warthog. On grassy fields and in thorny thickets, warthogs often hunch over their prey. Outwardly, they appear clumsy, short legs, a large head, a somewhat peculiar gait, but to call warthogs weak would be a mistake. An adult warthog typically weighs between 110 and 330 pounds. They have a large head, a hard snout, and pairs of curved tusks that protrude from their canine teeth. This is their defense when cornered. Warthogs typically feed on grass, roots, tubers, fallen fruit, and sometimes even animal carcasses, if given the opportunity. When foraging, they may kneel on their front legs to graze close to the ground. This posture makes them appear slow, but warthogs have very quick reflexes when danger arises. If they spot lions, leopards, hyenas, or wild dogs, warthogs usually immediately run back to their burrows. They may utilize old aardvark burrows or natural burrows. Notably, when entering a burrow, warthogs often retreat their rear end first, with their head and tusks facing outwards. In that cramped space, It's difficult for a predator to rush in without facing the sharp tusks. Young warthogs are easier targets. They can be ambushed by leopards, chased by wild dogs, or caught by hyenas when separated from their mothers. But a healthy adult can fight back fiercely. It doesn't need to defeat the predator. It just needs to pose enough of a threat to make the opponent give up. Therefore, warthogs are the kind of prey that many predators have to think very carefully about before attacking. And while warthogs choose burrows to survive, another giant bird chooses its long legs and speed across open grasslands. In the open lands of Africa, the ostrich is a very distinctive sight. It is the largest bird still alive on Earth. An adult ostrich can grow up to 9 feet tall and weigh around 220 to 320 pounds. Ostriches cannot fly, but in return, they have long, strong legs, built for speed. When needing to escape, ostriches can reach speeds of around 43 miles per hour over short distances and maintain high speeds across open grasslands. Each foot has only 2 toes, which helps it run more efficiently on the ground. Large eyes help ostriches spot danger from a distance. On the savanna, their wide field of vision is a huge advantage. Ostriches eat seeds, grass, leaves, flowers, fruits, insects, and sometimes small animals. They can live in arid environments, where many other species have to travel further to find water. When threatened, ostriches usually choose to run, but if cornered, they are not entirely helpless. A kick from their strong legs can make a predator reconsider its hunting strategy. Lions, hyenas, wild dogs, and leopards can all target young ostriches or eggs. But with adult ostriches, the hunt is never easy. Their speed, eyesight, and powerful kicks make them one of the most difficult prey to handle on the open grasslands. Next up are the savanna's masters of coordination, the African wild dog. The African painted dog, also known as the African wild dog, is one of the continent's most effective pack predators. An adult typically weighs between 40 and 70 pounds. Their bodies are slender, their legs long, their ears large, and their mottled fur is unique, with no two alike. They live in herds, usually with a dominant breeding pair. The remaining individuals hunt together, care for the young, and protect the group. The most remarkable characteristic of African wild dogs is their ability to coordinate. They don't hunt in a chaotic manner where one dog charges ahead and the whole pack follows. They split up, force the prey to change course, take turns maintaining pressure, and they exhaust their target during a long chase. Wild dogs can reach speeds of over 44 miles per hour while pursuing. Their prey is often impala, gazelle, young warthogs, or young wildebeest. They are especially dangerous to individuals that stray from the pack or run off course. Unlike lions or leopards, African wild dogs win through the strength of the pack. They coordinate closely to chase and exhaust their prey. After a successful hunt, the entire pack must eat quickly, because lions or hyenas can appear at any time. Even as excellent hunters, wild dogs must avoid stronger opponents. On the savannah, they are a testament to the power of teamwork. Zebras are a common prey for lions and hyenas. An adult typically weighs between 500 and 900 pounds. They live in large herds and are always vigilant when grazing or drinking water. Their distinctive stripes help the entire herd blend in, making it difficult for predators to target them in a crowd. Zebras are not just runners. They can deliver powerful kicks and are ready to fight back when cornered. When danger arises, the entire herd often moves in unison, creating chaos that reduces the predator's chances of success. Zebras are not just runners, but on their migrations spanning hundreds of miles, zebras are not alone. Accompanying them are large herds of wildebeest. The next characters in this story African buffalo are one of the most dangerous prey for lions. An adult can weigh between 1,100 and 2,000 pounds. Their massive bodies, strong necks, and curved horns form a formidable defensive weapon. Wild buffaloes usually live in herds. When a member is in danger, the entire herd may turn around to protect them. That's why lions often choose young buffaloes, old buffaloes, or individuals that have become separated from the herd. A healthy adult buffalo can make a hunt a significant risk. Therefore, on the savanna, the buffalo is not just prey, it is a real opponent. And if the buffalo is strong because of its herd, then another giant can make predators retreat simply by its size. Sunrise on the banks of the Mara River. A thin layer of mist still lingers over the water. Herds of zebras slowly made their way down to the riverbank to drink. Further on, the wildebeest herd continues its migration across the plains. A family of elephants leisurely stood in the shallow water, using their trunks to sip cool water. A few giraffes silently observed from a high vantage point. Impala herds began appearing along the sand, constantly raising their heads in alertness before lowering to drink. Along the shore, white storks and herons patiently forage in the shallow water. In the sky, African fish eagles circle, searching for prey, while a few vultures have begun to awaken. Along the river, all creatures begin a new day according to their familiar rhythm. But here, every step down to the water's edge is a gamble. And beneath the seemingly calm waters, a predator had been patiently waiting for a very long time. The Nile crocodile is one of the largest reptiles in Africa. An adult male can be over 16 feet long and weigh over 1,500 pounds. Thick armor covers its entire body, helping to protect it in fights with larger opponents. The powerful tail generates immense thrust, allowing the crocodile to accelerate suddenly underwater. The eyes and nostrils located on top of its head help it observe its surroundings, while almost its entire body remains submerged. The Nile crocodile's diet is diverse, ranging from fish and waterfowl to warthogs, impalas, zebras, wildebeest, and many other animals that come down to the river to drink. Late dry season on the Luangwa River. The sun hung low in the Zambian sky, casting scorching light down upon the cracked mudflats. The once vast river is now just a stretch of muddy water, flowing slowly between dry, grassy banks. Here, water is not just a place to drink. It's a shelter. It's a hunting ground. It's the boundary between life and death. Herds of antelopes advanced cautiously down the riverbank. Waterfowl trod on the sandbars. Fish were trapped in the shallow waters. And beneath the murky mud, predators awaited. The crocodiles lay motionless like rotting logs. Hippos immersed themselves in large groups, with only their eyes, ears, and nostrils visible above the water's surface. Normally, they could avoid each other, but as the dry season drags on, the river narrows, the distance disappears, and when the two greatest aquatic powers are forced to share the same habitat, conflict is only a matter of time. In the middle of the shallow river, a hippopotamus is controlling its territory. It doesn't need to move much to demonstrate its strength. Its sheer size alone is enough to keep most creatures at a distance. Its massive body weighs 4,000 pounds. It has a large head, thick neck, thick skin, and wide jaws that can open as a deadly warning. Hippopotamuses are not carnivores. It doesn't stalk its prey like a leopard. They don't hunt in prides like lions. It doesn't ambush with a bite like a crocodile, but that doesn't make it any less dangerous. For hippos, the river is their territory. Anyone who gets too close can be considered a threat, especially when there are young in the group. During the day, hippos rely on water to cool their bodies. At night, they leave the river to graze on the banks. But during the dry season, they cannot leave the water for too long. the water level dropped, forcing the fish to crowd together. And the dominant male must constantly defend his position against other males, against predators, and against anything that makes the pack uneasy. It doesn't hunt crocodiles. But if the crocodile gets too close, the hippo won't back down. Not far away, a large Nile crocodile lay motionless at the water's edge. It almost disappeared in the mud. Only his eyes rose above the water's surface, coldly observing every movement along the riverbank. If hippos represent overt power, crocodiles represent deadly silence. It doesn't need to go fast over long distances. No need to growl. No need to chase prey in the open field. The crocodile's tactic is to wait. An antelope bends down to drink water. A zebra steps in the wrong place. A young zebra separates from the herd. In just a moment, the water will erupt. Nile crocodiles possess incredibly strong jaws, sharp teeth, and a body designed for ambush. Once they've seized prey, they typically drag their victim underwater, using their body weight and powerful rotation to incapacitate them. But today, its target wasn't an antelope. Not fish, not a rotting carcass floating in the water. In front of it was a herd of hippos, a far more dangerous target. Crocodiles are smart enough to know that a fully grown hippo is not an easy opponent to mess with. But the young are different. Predators do not need to choose the strongest, it just needs to find the weakest one in the moment of vulnerability. At midday, the heat weighed heavily on the river. The water receded, pushing the crocodiles and hippos closer together. Along the muddy bank, a few crocodiles lay motionless, their mouths slightly open to cool down. Not far away, a herd of hippos huddled together in the deep water. The adults lay close together, protecting the young in the middle. A baby hippo swims close to its mother, unaware that just a few steps away from the herd could make it a target. Beneath the murky water, the large crocodile began to move. It didn't charge straight into the group, but quietly circled to the outer edge, where the muddy bank concealed its body. The newly arrived baby hippo attracted unwanted attention. Its mother was well aware of the danger. They kept their calf close, but the crocodile wasn't the hippo's only worry. The river was too calm. Such calmness often signals impending danger. In just a few seconds, this calm river could erupt. First of all, forget everything you've ever heard about hippos being big and gentle, because to be able to live alongside them on this river, they must be truly fearsome creatures. As the river narrows, the territories of hippos and crocodiles are squeezed together. From here, conflict begins to form. Both species must compete for living space, water resources, and survival opportunities in an increasingly harsh environment. It bears the marks of a battle that ended by a hair's breadth. In this confrontation, who do you think is truly more fearsome? Comment 1 if you choose hippos. Comment 2 if you choose crocodiles. But it doesn't stop there. The African savanna enters its harshest days. The heat blankets the ground like a heavy dust. The last traces of water are reduced to dark mud streaks in the valley floor, and against the red dust, gigantic footprints stretch towards the horizon. The elephants are on the move. Not to hunt, not to fight for territory, but to find the only thing that can keep the whole herd alive: water. In the hot, arid lands of Africa, elephants do not move randomly. They followed the lead of an old female elephant, an individual who carried within her the memories of many past drought seasons. It wasn't the biggest elephant in the herd, but it was the most important. On its 8,000-pound body were the marks of time, of long journeys across dry grasslands, shallow riverbeds, and lands once teeming with danger. Its wide ears help it cope with the heat. Its flexible trunk allows it to smell water in the wind, break branches, drink water, and communicate with the flock through gentle touches. But what made it a leader wasn't just its strength, it was its memory. It remembered the old paths that had saved the whole herd during the dry season. It remembered where there was water, where it had dried up, and where predators used to lurk. Each of its steps is not just a movement, It is experience accumulated over many years. To the elephant herd, an old female elephant is like a living history book of the savanna. As she leads the herd forward, she carries the past with her to protect the future. As the elephants began to weaken from hunger, thirst, and long journeys, predators also began to observe them more closely. Lions typically don't risk attacking a healthy adult elephant. The cost could be enormous, but a young, injured, or strayed individual presents a different opportunity. In the distance, hyenas and vultures gradually appeared. They weren't a direct threat to the healthy elephants, but in nature, wherever life begins to falter, there are always predators waiting for an opportunity. The elephant herd finally found the lake. The water's surface was murky and unusually calm. Not only were there other species, but also crocodiles lurking beneath the mud. A baby elephant approached the water's edge to drink. Suddenly, the water burst open. A large crocodile lunged forward, biting the baby elephant's trunk or leg. Screams of panic rang out. The lead mother elephant immediately charged forward. The other adults surrounded her. The elephants used their trunks to pull the calf away from the water's edge. One adult elephant stomped down on the mud, trying to force the crocodile to let go. The crocodile tried to drag its prey into the deep water, but on land, it lost its advantage. The elephant used its weight and strength to counterattack. A stomp or a powerful shove could force the crocodile to let go. Leaving the hippo, the crocodile faced another challenge. Across the vast African savannas, where the horizon stretches endlessly, patches of sparse forests and verdant, thorny bushes are interspersed among the golden sea of grass. This land changes its appearance with each season. The dry season is harsh, with scorching heat and depleted water sources. The rainy season transforms everything into a lush, green oasis, teeming with life. Follow our channel to journey with us into the heart of the savanna and ocean, where nature speaks. This is home to baboons, primates renowned for their strength, intelligence, and ability to live in close-knit groups. They possess sharp fangs as a defensive weapon, strong legs for running fast across the savanna, excellent climbing skills to find safe places, and an incredible memory that helps them remember the location of water sources, fruit trees, and enemies. Amidst the harsh, natural environment, baboons survive as warriors, both brave and cunning. Despite being intelligent and highly cooperative, baboons still face a host of dangerous enemies on the savanna. The most fearsome are lions, apex hunters who work in packs, employing tactics such as ambushes or direct attacks. They usually wait for the monkeys to let their guard down while they're busy foraging on the ground, then suddenly pounce with overwhelming speed and strength. Just one well-aimed pounce is enough to take down an adult. While cheetahs don't hunt baboons regularly, when they do, they will target those that are weak or separated from the group. With a top speed of over 100 kilometers per hour, cheetahs can lunge so quickly that their prey has no time to react. This lightning-fast speed makes it difficult for young or panicked individuals to escape. Hyenas pose another threat, not only because of their tenacity, but also because of their clever encirclement tactics. They often hunt in large groups, cornering monkeys or separating individuals, pursuing them until their victims are exhausted. Hyenas also do not hesitate to attack at night, when baboons are resting on the ground. In this predator-ridden environment, the survival of baboons depends on keen observation skills, quick warning, and a coordinated response from the entire troop. But sometimes, even heightened vigilance isn't enough to protect them from surprise attacks by the steppe's notorious predators. The constant presence of predators such as lions, leopards, and hyenas has forced baboons to become masters of adaptation in order to survive. Their struggle for survival is intertwined with the harsh rhythm of the savanna. During the dry season, when water is scarce and food is limited, the entire flock must travel long distances, sometimes tens of kilometers a day, to find fruit, roots, or insects. This journey is fraught with danger as they are forced to cross enemy territory. Conversely, the rainy season brings an abundant food source, but it is also the time when predators are most active, making every meal underground a life or death gamble. In addition to their traditional foraging habits, baboons are also known for their opportunistic nature, taking advantage of their numbers They can coordinate lightning-fast attacks to steal prey from lions or cheetahs immediately after these predators have brought down their prey. This risky but effective tactic not only helps the pack conserve energy, but also demonstrates the boldness and cunning characteristic of these cunning warriors of the steppe. Bold prey-stealing tactics help baboon troops maintain their food sources, but to ensure long-term survival, they must also protect important areas from encroachment by other troops. Territorial battles between baboon groups are often intense and noisy. The alpha males will roar, bare their sharp fangs, display their muscles, and make powerful lunges to intimidate their rivals.
A female pushed too far turns on stand. Suddenly, more females are chasing him off.
If warnings are ineffective, the conflict will quickly escalate into fierce hand-to-hand combat. With screams and violent lunges, leave a 1-inch the comments if you'd like to continue exploring baboon stories. These conflicts are most intense during food shortages or breeding seasons, when control of water sources, shelter, and foraging areas becomes crucial. In the world of baboons, territory is key to the safety and prosperity of the entire troop, and fierce territorial battles help baboon troops maintain their food sources and safe zones, but also make many smaller animals in the area more frequent targets of prey. To survive against these cunning warriors, prey have developed various defense strategies. Some species choose camouflage, blending their fur or skin color with their environment, such as the brown of dry soil or the grayish-green of shrub leaves, to reduce the risk of being detected. Agile species rely on their ability to escape, utilizing speed, agility, or leaping to get out of the baboon's reach. Meanwhile, underground animals like rabbits and voles rely on narrow burrows as safe hiding places. Furthermore, the survival instinct is also manifested in the strategy of rapid reproduction, increasing the number of offspring in a short period of time to compensate for losses due to hunting. It is this diversity in response that creates a constant cycle of life and death, where predator and prey are always changing to adapt and survive,